Listen, I know you have heard a lot of YouTubers say this many times these couple of years, and I feel like I should say it as well, because now everyone is saying this and everyone has accepted this. Gaming is dying. Don't be sad that this is happening. Be happy that this is happening. For past couple of years now, we have seen a massive downfall when it comes to gaming in general. Why is it that games are more profitable than ever, but still we see games flopping left and right? And these are not small games by any means. These games cost millions, and hundreds of game devs work day and night to create them. Then why is gaming dying? Well, there are a lot of reasons. I always thought that gameplay would get better in the future, like it always has been. We went from Pong and Tetris to games like GTA and Call of Duty. But that's no longer the case, because nowadays we're going backwards. Instead of going for a different and innovative gameplay, we get the most generic and boring gameplay loop that we have seen for so many years now. Let me give you an example. Ubisoft released the first Assassin's Creed in 2008, which was really good with a great concept, but there were some improvements that were needed. Then we had Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, which added more gadgets and mechanics. Then we got the third series with better graphics, better weapons and gadgets, with one of the most fluid combat I have ever seen at that time. Then we got the Black Flag, which is almost everyone's favorite because they gave us so many tools to play with. And also the naval combat, which made me spend hours grinding this game because how fun it was. We have seen a lot of great improvements over the years. With that being said, I have a question to ask all of you. How did we end up here? Like seriously, how did we went from one of the best combat system to one of the most generic combat systems? Like, how do you downgrade your game so badly? This is something that I can find in any generic RPG. And also, who asked for level system in this game? Because now we can't even assassinate enemies. Huh? I thought I was playing Assassin's Creed. Assassin? Question mark? What's the point of an Assassin's Creed game when I can't even assassinate people? And does anyone remember Concord? Why would you make a worse version of Overwatch when we already have one? It's called Overwatch 2. This thing is even worse than Paladins. Remember Suicide Squad? Why would I play this game when there are so many great looter shooter games that exist? Because this game is a really bad representation of this genre. Remember when Dragon Age used to be good? Well, that's not the case anymore. Babylon's Fall, Redfall, Skull and Bones, The Walking Dead, Saints Row. You understand what I'm trying to say, right? The gameplay is not getting better, but it's getting worse. Listen, in my personal opinion, I don't really care about the graphics. The reason why I'm talking about this is because it's the main focus of AAA games these days. Every single game needs ray tracing and beach fuzz rendering so that they can brag for 30 minutes about how great they are.
Star Wars Outlaws is considered by the fans as one of the most immersive and beautiful interactive representations of the Star Wars universe.
Even though the gameplay sucks. And let me tell you something, even graphics are getting a major downgrade in newer games. Let's run through some examples. Forspoken came out and people didn't like it. And let's be honest, nobody likes this. The Star Wars came out, which looked like a game made in 2015. Like, what am I even watching right now? Halo was also mediocre when it comes to graphics. It was okay, but not the best. Battlefield 2042. How did we went from this to this? You understand what I'm trying to say, right?
The metal surface textures aren't quite as reflective, even when the ray tracing is disabled in Battlefield 5.
I think everyone will agree to what I'm gonna say right now. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the best games when it comes to graphics. This game came out in 2018. It has been 7 years since this game came out. Why most of these new AAA games that are coming out look worse than this 7-year-old game? And also, why are new games getting worse when it comes to performance, even though we are getting new and better hardware? You don't know how much I laughed when I saw the Forspoken system requirements. An i7 with 3070 just to get 30 FPS. Like, where's the rest of the frames? 24 gigabytes of RAM. I'll repeat this again. 24 gigabytes. Why does this game need so much RAM? Battlefield 2042 was a disaster when it launched. Stalker 2, Saints Row, Last of Us Part 1 remake on PC, and Assassin's Creed games. This might be a hot take, but one thing that I would like to say is almost all Assassin's Creed games are really unoptimized, especially the new ones. I really hate these words, but it's true. Games are made by looking at trends and what's popular rather than focusing on what people love about their games. Best example being, you guessed it, Assassin's Creed. They destroyed the Assassin's Creed amazing formula and turned it into what Assassin's Creed was not supposed to be. And don't get me started on Shadows, the only reason why they added Yasuke so that they can copy Ghost of Tsushima, just to sell more copies. But that didn't work, did it? Need for Speed is another example. Even I was confused when I saw this. Why? Dragon Age The Veilguard. I don't think anyone wanted a Fortnite sequel. Why would you abandon that dark medieval setting and go for this art style? Because this does not feel like Dragon Age. There are a lot of companies that rely on nostalgia to sell their games now. Actually, most AAA games use these tactics. Their main focus to sell these games is not to make a good game, but to use a name that people like. Why do you think every Call of Duty is called either Black Ops or Modern Warfare? Because people want to relive the good old days. And don't worry, Ubisoft is still #1 in this list as well. Tell me something, why is this game called Assassin's Creed? You don't even look like an assassin, you don't act like an assassin, you don't fight like an assassin. Like you can't even assassinate enemies if they are higher level. If you change the name of the game, it will change nothing. Like no one will ever think that this game has any resemblance to Assassin's Creed. Dragon Age The Veilguard, Suicide Squad. Don't see any reason why they made the game looter shooter other than milking money. The Walking Dead.
The only mechanic is sneak by them, throw a bottle to distract them, or slowly and tediously grind through them by hitting them once and then stabbing them.
Saints Row, Diablo, Lord of the Rings, maybe? I don't know. Best way to describe the real state of AAA games right now is that it's a poison. Slowly but surely, it's killing gaming. And you can't stop this poison from infecting gaming companies that will result in their demise. But there is a cure to this disease. A cure that will bring hope in these troubling times. Yep, that's right. I'm talking about indie games. These games, developed by the underdogs, are rising to the top. Buckshot Roulette sold million copies, Palworld became the top seller, and Schedule 1, made by one person, outperformed a billion-dollar company. Other games that I would like to mention is Repo, Lethal Company, Cuphead, Subnautica, Deep Rock Galactic, and how can we forget Five Nights at Freddy's? Remember how this game actually started? Now look at this game. If you are still skeptical about buying these games, then I'm sorry to say this, but these are the only games that are fun these days. So for the time being, sit back, relax, because lots of games are going to flop. That's gonna result in studios getting shut down. Then we just have to wait for the Chinese, Japanese, and Koreans to take over, because they are the only ones who are making good games right now. And until then, have fun.